Hey guys, welcome to the Max Invest YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over some of the news that happened in the past week, and then we're going to be taking a look at the prices of a couple of specific cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Chainlink. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of my viewers are not subscribed, and it would be much appreciated if you guys could subscribe. Also, remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. Now, every single week we do like to do this weekly update on the crypto markets. However, recently a lot of the videos have had a lot of news in them throughout the week. So we're going to be doing some more price updates this week when we look at some things. Of course, we will go through some of the biggest news that has happened in the past week in crypto, however. Let's take a look at some of the major headlines in the past week. It looks like the Nigerian government are planning to roll out a central banking digital currency. All this is a centralized blockchain that people in Nigeria can use to transact, and it looks like a lot of countries are actually going to be adopting CBDCs. Now, the next big bit of news is that essentially Twitter are going to add a Bitcoin and Ethereum feature to their application. Now, essentially what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to connect your Ethereum or your Bitcoin wallet to Twitter. All this means is that everyone will be able to see your ENS name on Twitter, you'll be able to log in with your Ethereum wallet, and you'll be able to connect to applications through there, which I do think is going to be very big, and it's definitely interesting to see that Twitter are looking at adding this. Now, the last thing that I briefly wanted to discuss is it looks like a Bitcoin futures ETF is going to be passed. Now, there has been a lot of hype and excitement about ETFs for Ethereum and Bitcoin in the past year. This is because when you make, say, a Bitcoin ETF, everybody who buys into the ETF is effectively going to be buying Bitcoin. This is because individuals will give the ETF person money to then go off and buy Bitcoin. Now, the reason that this is needed is essentially a lot of larger investors cannot directly access Bitcoin because of legal regulations. However, if an ETF came into place, everyone would be able to access Bitcoin easily through the ETF. Institutions would be able to buy Bitcoin a lot easier, and essentially this would open up a lot more access and adoption of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other cryptocurrencies. Now, the one big problem is that the first ETF they're planning to have is a futures ETF. This essentially means it's all derivatives of Bitcoin and they don't actually buy the underlying asset. This would therefore negate the effectiveness of the ETF on pushing up the price of some of these cryptos, and we really do need a proper ETF and not a futures ETF. So, that was all of the news in the past week of crypto, and now I do want to take a brief look at price. So the first crypto I'm going to look at is Bitcoin, and now I don't personally hold any Bitcoin myself, however it is good to look at to see where the market is going. And as we can see, Bitcoin is sitting steadily above the $50,000 mark and above the bull market support band, which is good to see. Of course, when we see Bitcoin consistently closing above the bull market support band and sitting steadily above it, we tend to see the altcoins run significantly. Of course, we do know that a whole bunch of other coins have been running, such as Ethereum, Cardano, and it looks like all of these coins will break their new all-time highs, which is very interesting and very good. The last thing I do want to discuss is that essentially crypto has worked in market cycles for all of the past years. I'm going to zoom out to essentially show you what I mean. And as you can see here, there was a big market cycle all the way up in 2013 where crypto rose a ton. However, it then dropped back down after 2013. This then followed up to 2017 where there was another huge bull run and another market cycle, and then it dropped back down. It does look like we're getting to the end of the market cycle this year, and it will be interesting to see if crypto does the same thing. If Bitcoin did the exact same thing that it did last market cycle, Bitcoin would go to around $300,000 per BTC by the end of September. So this means Bitcoin would essentially go from 50,000 to 300,000 by the end of September. Now, not only do I think that this is unlikely, however, I think that this is completely impossible, and there is essentially near to a 0% chance of Bitcoin going to $300,000 by this September. Now, As you can see, a clear trend between the market cycles is that Bitcoin diminishes in returns, so the return on investment gets lower between cycles. Now, why would this be? Well, essentially this is because there's more money in the game now. On the first cycle there was millions in the game, on the next cycle there was billions in the game, and now there is trillions of dollars in Bitcoin. So as a direct result, the returns will likely diminish, and I'm thinking Bitcoin's price is going to be more around the $100,000 mark than the $300,000 mark. Now, the next thing that we can see cycles have been doing is cycles have essentially been lengthening. Cycles have been going longer and longer. So it does look like Bitcoin is going to have a lengthened cycle, go out a little bit longer into 2022 and eventually top out. However, the thing that I do want to point out with market cycles as well is market cycles have only existed a couple of times. There was 2011, 2013 and 2017. In my personal opinion, this is not enough market cycles to get an accurate gauge of if this is going to continue into the future. Now, if too many people expect these market cycles to happen, they're going to stop happening. This is because people will want to buy at the low prices and sell at the high prices, which would essentially mean that there are no high prices and no low prices, and it all gets smoothed out and there's no market cycles. That's why if something is expected, well, then it is expected and it's priced in. So, in my opinion, I don't believe we're going to see a multi-year bear market. And, of course, one of the reasons for that is because I do believe it's expected. The next reason for this is because cryptocurrencies like Ethereum last market cycle were a lot less fundamentally sound. Last market cycle, Ethereum had essentially nothing on it except other coins launching on top of it. Right now, we already know, and I did a big video yesterday and a few days before that, Ethereum has a lot more on it. There's so much on Ethereum right now, there's 100 billion in DeFi, and I do believe it's very fundamentally strong. That's why I completely disagree with the prospect that Ethereum is going to just go into a multi-year bear market. I don't think Ethereum is going to suffer any more 80% plus drops. I think 50% drops are definitely possible. However, I think the bear markets for Ethereum will look more like this one. I think the bear markets in the future are going to be 2 to 6 to months to maybe 1 year. Now, I don't believe there's going to be no bear markets. Obviously, there are going to be bear markets. However, I just don't see a multi-year bear market. Overall, I do think Ethereum's price will just essentially trend up over time. It will have brief bear markets, maybe even up to 1 year. However, in the end, I do think Ethereum is going to trend up over time. Right now, Ethereum is sitting at $3,900, and in my opinion, I do think Ethereum is probably one of the most undervalued assets out there. And the reason I think this is because we're looking at future growth for Ethereum right now, and the future growth that I do see for this cryptocurrency is essentially taking over most of the world, and a lot of assets being brought on-chain, and I can see it going a lot higher than $4,000, and I do see it just trending up until 2030. Now, this doesn't mean there won't be bear markets, as I've already said. However, I just don't think we're going to see the traditional market cycle play out, and that's just my opinion. Some people will disagree. Some people will say, hey, Bitcoin is going to top out around the end of this year and then go back down and we'll do it all again. However, I generally tend to disagree, and I really don't think we're just going to see the exact same market cycle play out all over again. So, that's my take on Bitcoin right now and Ethereum. So, because of that, I do believe that the fundamentally strong cryptocurrencies will continue to trend up. And if you watch the channel, you'll know that my second biggest investment overall is in Chainlink after Ethereum. And I do believe it looks like Chainlink is about to get back on its trend line, get back on its uptrend, and I think it will follow. As we've already seen, Bitcoin is sitting nicely above its bull market support band, and as a direct result, cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Cardano, a few other cryptocurrencies are around their all-time highs. Chainlink is yet to get back to those all-time highs, and I do think that before the end of the year, Chainlink is going to be able to break its all-time highs and get over that $100 mark. Of course, you can never be certain with things like this, and it may continue to trend sideways and slightly up, however it is now. However, I do see a bit of a bigger rise in Chainlink coming. Anyway, that's my overall take on the crypto markets right now. Essentially, if everything is expected, well then it's all priced in. And if everything's priced in, well it won't play out in exactly the same way that it did before. And I don't believe we will see a multi-year bear market for this reason, and the reason that a lot of cryptocurrencies have a lot stronger fundamentals this time round. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching the video.